As your resident elder millennial, I'm going to give you a piece of advice, ladies. You cannot be friends with women that are male centered. And I truly feel like this is the reason why my narcissistic mother and I never ever got along and why I went no contact with her. When I became a solo parent at the age of 22, right after I graduated with my bachelor's degree, I was pushed to wear a wedding ring so people wouldn't think the wrong thing about me and having a child out of wedlock. I absolutely refused to do that. And when my mother, my narcissistic mother, and also narcissistic family members on her side of the family questioned me about that, I was like, why would I care what people think about me as a solo mom? It's not stopping anything. And you know what? It hasn't. It hasn't stopped me from being recruited by top tech companies and getting paid almost up to $1 million in compensation when I worked in tech. It didn't stop me from landing the jobs that I wanted when I was a librarian at prestigious institutions like Harvard, Cornell, and also institutions here in New York City like New York Public Library and Brooklyn Public Library, which are dream jobs for librarians. If you didn't know, it's not easy to get an interview there. It didn't stop me from getting my dream life and my dream house, moving into one of the richest towns in New Jersey, and also moving back into New York City into our dream apartment that we have here in my first high-rise ever, living on the top floor. I've never been a male-centered pick-me woman. If a man didn't want me, if a man didn't want to show up and be there for me when I needed them the most, I was perfectly okay with walking away. And I also gave warnings. For example, when one of my kids' fathers absolutely showed their whole ass at Babies R Us, when I told him to meet me there, it's like, hey, like, we're having a baby. Like, I'm not having this baby. Like, we made this baby. We're having a baby. The minute that this man pulled up at Babies R Us, instantly had an attitude. Why are we here? Why aren't we at Walmart? Why aren't we at Kohl's? And I was like, sir, I am a privileged suburban black girl. After Babies R Us, we're going to a luxury boutique for women that are expecting, like, what you thought, like you knew who I was and the type of woman that you wanted to impregnate. We're here. We're shopping at Babies R Us. And I told this man before we went in there, I said, you know what? If you continue with this attitude and ruining this day for me when I found out the gender of my baby, there's no need for us to like talk for this to like work out because clearly you don't want to be here. I'm not going to force you here. Had the come to Jesus talk. Went in the store. This man continued to show his whole ass. I guess he thought, you know what? She's in a vulnerable time of her life. Like, you know, she's pregnant, you know, with our daughter. Like, she's just going to forgive me and everything's going to be fine. When I tell you I had a ball, I had so much fun that day. I was kikiing with the lady there. I was like, oh, this is my first daughter. Like, I'm so happy. Like, I've always wanted a daughter. I was still having fun. Meanwhile, this man's sulking. Oh, that's too expensive. Oh, why don't you get this? Just ignored him the whole time. And so we finally left the store about an hour and a half later because I'm taking my sweet ass time. I'm so excited for the birth of my child. We get out to the store and we get to my car and I was like, you know what? This is where we're going to part ways. I said, you know what? I never want to hear from you again. You don't want to be there for me or my daughter. You're being very rude. You're being very immature. And I do not have the time to raise you and our daughter. Have an amazing life. I truly wish the best for you. Have not talked to that man since because nothing has changed. He's never stepped up for our daughter. He's never paid his child support in the manner that he's supposed to pay it. Okay. Like this man will do $25, $30 and expect to have a relationship. There's nothing like that. And the older that I become, the more I see why my narcissistic mother hated me. And even so much as said that to me after I became a mom. Oh, I hate the way that you mother. I hate the way that you're so selfish about your precious me time. I hate the way that you feel like you don't need a man. I don't need a man. I truly don't. I fear that this is the first generation of women who are choosing to be single for decades even. As why would a man be there? Why What do we need? What do we need you for? What do we need you for? If you're not going to be kind, if you're not going to be empathetic, if you're not going to be a provider, okay, and if you're not willing to work and take care of these children that we birthed for you, okay, because we were in a relationship, okay, what is the purpose of you being there? And as I've gotten older, I have learned to spot pick me women a mile away. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to hate my guts because I don't receive validation from men. I don't care to participate in the patriarchy bullshit. I do what I want. And I have been doing what I want since I was 22. And I will continue to do so. And that is the best example that I can set for, my daughter and also for my other kids is the fact that you need to move through life being selfish for yourself. And when some of my ex-friends were like, you know what? Like, I just don't understand. Like, why don't you get married? Why don't you, why don't you want a husband? Meanwhile, some of my ex-friends were already on their third marriage because they just couldn't bear the thought of being alone. That's fine. That's for you. And I never once said anything about my male-centered friends that jumped from marriage to marriage. Some of my ex-friends, okay? Never said a word. Okay, congratulations. So happy for you. But the minute that a woman decides that she doesn't and the patriarchal bullshit and be, male, something's wrong with us, no, it's absolutely not. My life is so peaceful. I don't live and breathe by a notification from a dating app on my phone. I have not been on a dating app in 5 years, and I'm truly not missing anything, okay? I do not live and breathe by whether a man is going to text me back to take me out on a date. I truly don't. I don't live my life for the approval of men. I don't dress for men. I don't do my hair and I don't do my makeup for men. I do what I like, and I've been doing that. And I do feel like, going to an all-girls Catholic high school and then an all-women's liberal arts college like truly molded me into the woman that I am today, because being around women that knew their power, being around women that were so in tune with their emotions and who they were as a person, it was the best thing that I ever could have done in my early 20s. And especially coming from an all-girls Catholic high school where the girls did feel like mini gods, okay? I ain't even gonna front, okay? We all felt like we were Britney Spears in that music video, okay? Couldn't say nothing to us. And then going to an all-women's liberal arts college on the East Coast, oh my gosh. When we went to our brother's school, which was conveniently an hour and a half away, and several towns over, baby, we were running that. Okay, going to all the parties, not having to, get the cheap liquor. Okay, not everybody can be invited to the frat house. Okay, they'll just let everybody in. We ran that hoe. We did. We did. We had a time. We ran things. And if you're a woman watching this and you're like, you know what? I fear that I live for the approval of men. Girl, you need to get around women that been doing what they want. You need to get around independent women. Okay, like INDEPENDENT. You need to get around women like that. You need to get around women who go out for the evening and their whole evening isn't ruined because a man didn't want to dance with them at the club. Like, you need to get around women that live rich, meaningful lives outside of their house and also inside their house. They've got their inside hobbies. They have a rich inner world. They're intellectual. They're worldly. They travel. They're cosmopolitan. And even if you don't have that in your life, like, start watching and consuming content for women that do this, like, so that you're their unofficial mentor. Okay? Because listen, I'm going to tell you something. As a life coach for women, it is so beautiful to mentor and coach women to get to their authentic selves, to remove them from the toxicity of the male gaze and patriarchy, and get them to embody their true self and their true timeline. It is one of the most beautiful things to witness as a life coach. And it's never too late to not be a pick me. I don't care if you're 30, 40, 20, 8, whatever. It truly doesn't matter. There's no better time to destabilize from the male gaze.